Bula and welcome to Bula Beats. I'm your host, Brianna Prasad. We are broadcasting from ancestral traditional territories of Squamish, Katzie, Silvertooth, and Musqueam Nation. We are grateful for the first people of this land to allow us to live, flourish, laugh, and grow. Bula Beats brings you our viewers cooking segments, community events, interviews, cultural celebrations, sports, and etc. No show is complete without your support from our sponsors. If you have a business and want to promote your business on Rogers in partnership with Shaw, this is your opportunity to let the community know what your business is all about and promote your business here. I'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invis Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
World Partnership Walk is taking place on June 2nd at Lumberman's Arch at Stanley Park. Registration starts at 9 a.m. and walk starts at 10 a.m. World Partnership Walk is taking place on June 2nd at Lumberman's Arch at Stanley Park. Registration starts at 9 a.m. and walk starts at 10 a.m. World Partnership Walk funds to raise support to eliminate global poverty. This is a project by Aga Khan Foundations. Come show your support and raise funds. Father's Day Walk is on June 16th at Burnaby Lake in Kamloops. You can join in on a 5 or 10 kilometer walk or run to raise funds for mental health for men. For more information, please call 604-574-8000. Here are some highlights of Amar Dillon Entertainment's groups. Enjoy.
Continuing to hide it. Continue to say it's okay, it's everyone else's fault. A few drinks here and there. Suppressing my emotions. You know, I never wanted to accept any of those emotions. I wanted to run away from them. I was in pain, but I was resisting it, and I would suffer more. I'll tell you, at that time, I went to a treatment facility at Sunshine Coast Men's Health Center in Powell River. And this is through the window of a lot of loss. The marriage had fallen apart. I was there in the physical form for my kids, but I was never present. Never. At times, yeah, I was sober, I was staying sober, but just white-knuckling it, as they say. Just staying sober, never living a life full, never having self-care. Didn't know what the self-love meant. I think a lot of us can relate to this. That was alien language. Self-compassion, self-love. What do you mean? You know, what does that mean? We're supposed to just do X, Y, and Z. Went to Sunshine Coast Health Center, and there was a maintenance worker there. And he gave me this book by Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk and Zen master who died at 95. It's called No Mud, No Lotus. And I opened the first page, and it said, there's the mud and there's the lotus flower. Without the mud, you can't have the lotus flower. And something hit me in that of accepting suffering. Not running away from it anymore. It's part of it. Impermanence. Everything is impermanent. This moment's impermanent. Changes second by second. I did not want to sit in any of those pieces that were difficult, but I had to accept every part of that as well too. From there, you know, I've skipped a lot because I've got a short time frame here. And from there, I left the treatment center. At that point, health issues kicked in, as my friend Aman Singh said as well, because I did relapse. And I'll call it neuropathy. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That kicked in. My nerves were gone. I came from a life of movement. I had to learn to walk in front of my parents' house, literally step by step. In that, I started actually looking around. I saw the trees, I saw the bird. I hadn't been in the present moment on anything in my whole life. It took those little steps starting my journey in that. Few people know about that. Few people know how sick I was at that time. From there, nothing would have been possible if I didn't start reaching out, if I didn't start connecting, if I didn't start saying I'm struggling. But even at that time, I didn't want to open it up to everybody, you know? So I didn't know what to do. I'm so grateful to be sitting here today that there's an organization, Together We Can. I called them. They said, just come by anytime. Spend time with guys. So just be. There was no expectations, but it was a brotherhood. And in that brotherhood, you know, being there for others who were struggling helped me. And it was reciprocal in my journey. And to this day, you know, that's part of, it's an integral part of my life, of a mindfulness group I started for men, and just seeing that spark, you know, with everyone actually coming together, supporting each other. Two of my brothers right there, Sean and Justin. We call each other every day. Even we don't see each other, we go for coffee, we go for walks on Seal. We're guys. We can say when things are going on in our lives, and we can support each other. So breaking down that mask, being vulnerable and opening up, as Amin said, single-handedly is still the most important thing in anyone's journey, because people are suffering in silence. And acceptance that I had no control. My life had become unmanageable. I cannot pick up a drink. It will lead to the same journey. But in that, I found peace. I found peace. And that was what I was looking for my whole life. And I'll tell you,
my life, but there's something deep inside me that hurts. And that was nagging at me. I was revived in the ambulance, taken into the hospital, and like so many times before, brought sort of back to life. I left that hospital again. This is the power of this disease. I left that hospital again in the middle of the night, against medical advice, to go and get drunk again in the morning. And thanks to my higher power, that was when I left. That was my last drink, because I woke up. I had friends. I had the one thing. I had gone to some meetings, and I had seen hope in those meetings. In those meetings, I had seen people with 1 week of recovery, 1 day of recovery, 10 days of recovery, multiple years of recovery. And that gave me hope. So I had always reached out to people at that point. The stigma had gone because I had reached out to those people. I reached out to a friend of mine. I went to another meeting, and it'll be almost 14 years in a few months if I don't drink between now and then. For those many years, for those 2.5 years, between January of 2008 and August of 2010, what happened? You know, why wasn't I able to stop drinking? What happened was the stigma was so great that I wasn't able to reach out for help, right? I was so ashamed of what I was. I was so ashamed of what I saw as a moral failing, because our society tells us it's a moral failing. Now we recognize it's not a moral failing, it's a mental disease. It's a disease of the mind that we have. Right? Alcoholism is a disease of the mind. Addiction is a disease of the mind. And that's why we have to treat people with the disease with the same compassion that we treat people with cancer or diabetes. And that's sort of the biggest message that I can carry to you today, is that if you have someone, if you know someone, you know, treat them with compassion and recognize that it's not their fault. It's not a moral failing, right? That stigma, perpetuated it. It's a disease of attrition, but it's also a disease of fear. Fear and guilt and shame are two sides of the same coin, and that fear of coming out and the guilt and shame of what I thought was my own moral failing kept me drinking again and again, and to the door of death many, many times. And that's a story of thousands and thousands of alcoholics and addicts that are around. Many of them may be sitting here in this very room and may not have reached out for help. So if you are sitting here in this very room and something that I say or someone else says resonates with you, please reach out. My door is always open, as is TWC. You'll hear from them as well, and many other people here as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amin. Big round of applause.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jassy Pander. I'm going to really beg people. I'm sorry, but he's sharing a vulnerable story up here telling you that he's a recovering alcoholic. Can we please please just be quiet, listen to the stories that people are sharing. These people are being vulnerable up here and telling you their personal life story. We can give them that much empathy. Please, I'm begging you, just hear people out. Thank you.
Thanks, Jazzy. So next up we have a video, if we can get that ready. That's from a social worker at Surrey Memorial Hospital. And she recently got to do some work with Such, and she connected. And she had some words to share with you folks tonight. While we're waiting, get those credit cards ready. Get those wallets out. I know some of you brought cash, some of you still believe that cash is king. So whatever works. All right, give it up for Dance Company. Big round of applause.
From Berkeley Central Secondary, you did an incredible job. Thank you so much for being a part of our event. At this time, we would like to invite the Such Board back to the stage and the PHI Hotel Group as well. Members from there, thank you so much.
Sorry about that technical snag.
Hey, Dimple, बड़े बड़े शहरों में छोटी मोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
होती रहती है सिनोरिटा। Sorry about that, guys. Technical snags होती रहती हैं. So ये गाना मैं फिर से गाऊंगी.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो, लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं, यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invis Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
And although recruits were only shackled for 5 to 10 years of servitude rather than a lifetime, plantation owners still did everything they could to ensure that Gavitias completed their agreements, retaining as little as possible. It was common not to be paid or to be jailed for trivial offenses. Overtasking was also commonplace. Gavitias often didn't complete a full day's task and thus were never paid like they were agreed, and their food rations only lasted 4 to 5 days, leaving them starving for the rest of the week. Many suffered from a number of illnesses due to poor food, lack of nutrients, and improper sanitation. This led to an absence of work, which led to reduced pay, and the cycle of oppression continued. Infant mortality rates were unusually high, 84 deaths for 1,000 babies. Many died due to disease, improper feeding, poor sanitation, and the inability of mothers to properly care for their children while being forced to work in the fields. Imagine the stories of mothers returning from work to find their babies dead due to neglect throughout the day. Kirimitia barracks, or the coolie lines, were 10-foot by 7-foot cells with a door, no windows, a dirt floor, and walls that did not reach to the top. There were no privacy. Each cell housed 3 single males or a family of 4. And for the duration of their agreement, this was at Kirmitia's kitchen, their living room, their bedroom, and their storehouse for their worldly possessions. Life was miserable in the coolie lines, and life was crowded, dirty, and ugly. The indentured system gave plantation overseers no leverage. You see, weak workers couldn't be fired, and strong workers couldn't be promoted. So overseers used persistent bullying, humiliation, mental and physical violence to establish superiority. Kirmitias were beaten like animals and whipped in front of their children. So just think about that. क्या करियो भैया काम पे जो चाहिए पड़ी गोरा साहब बोले हम कितने का What are we going to do, brother? We have to go to work. The overseer tells us we have an agreement. The indentured agreement was like a noose around their necks, and these poor Kirmitias couldn't even pronounce the word properly. Agreement turned into Kirmit, a dirty word used to describe the atrocities of indentured labor in Fiji. Many Kirmitias succumbed to the hardships of Kirmit. Some killed overseers with little care about their ensuing actions. On average, more suicides occurred in Fiji than in any other British colony at the time. And many other Kirmitias were killed or murdered simply because there was less female Kirmitias in Fiji than there was males, at a ratio of about 3 to 1. There was a major cause of frequent violence, depression, and homesickness. Women's moral values were constantly under assault. The coolie lines gave little privacy, and marriages were constantly bombarded, and women were perpetually insecure. The anguish and emotional scarring of these poor people can never, ever be underestimated. The brutality of Kirmit broke the social lifeways that Kirmitias knew. The loss of their elders' collective knowledge and wisdom caused a vacuum with no rules, no penalties, and no methods of maintaining social accountability. Thus, old habits and patterns of thought, associations and understandings about the world, and a Kirmitia's place in it were shaken and cast aside. But despite what colonizers did to the Kirmitia ancestors, they persevered. Despite being shipped to a land with no elders to look up to, no links to their homelands, these Kirmitias emerged like a phoenix from the hellfires of Kirmit.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
Thank you. Have your pen and paper ready. Here are some events you would like to participate in. Times of Canada is bringing a Father's Day celebration on June 15th at Unwin Park at 13313 68 Avenue in Surrey. This is a free event. All kinds of events are planned for celebrations of Father's Day, free admission as well. If you have any events that are taking place and you'd like for us to promote your events, please send us the information at asianpulse@gmail.com. That's all the time we have for today. You can watch Bula Beats again on Sunday at 4:30. Please like and subscribe and ask your family and friends to watch it as well. Bula Beats brings 3 other shows: Asian Pulse on every Wednesday at 2:30, Thursdays at 8:30, and Saturdays at 5:30. Fijian Focus on every Tuesday at 10 p.m., Thursdays at 2:30 p.m., and Sundays at 4 p.m., as well as the Kamila Singh Talk Show on every Monday at 10 a.m. and Sundays at 5:30 p.m. All these shows you can also watch in Calgary on Shaw Cablevision. Before I leave, I'll leave you with these thoughts. Engrave this upon your heart. There isn't anyone you couldn't love once you've heard their story. I'm your host, Brianna Prasad.
Yeah.